Days like this don't come around every year. You know what I'm talking about, fellas?
It's Leap Day.
It is
Nobody
Leap
told
Day.
me that either. I was surprised.
Well, happy Leap Day.
Yeah.
Is that a thing that people tell other people?
I don't know. I nobody really talks about it. I don't know. I saw you can get like a Crunch Wrap from Taco Bell for $2.29. But that's all I've heard about celebrations.
Oh, we're eating healthy this year.
Oh, no.
What the heck is going on?
Maybe just on Leap Day. It's like the extra day. 1 day off. 365 good ones.
Is that how you're living your life today? Like today just doesn't count, so you can, all rules are gone? No rules, Hank?
I feel like it's a waste to start that right now. Because I already followed too many rules for the last 3 hours. You know? I would have had to have committed before.
Well, I guess in 4 years from now, you can plan on that.
Is it 4? Because it's one of those things, because it's like every like 2 point, or like there's like 0.27 days extra every year. And so it's like every 4 years they account for it. But then there's like that other like 0.2 on top of the 0.25. So you get like 2 bonus ones every century.
What are you
Do we
about?
really?
Yeah, so it's like every 4 years there's a leap day. Plus, I think there's supposed to be 2 other leap days over the course of a century, because it's not like exactly an extra quarter day.
Right.
I think that's right.
So where's the other leap day they put in?
I don't know. I'll figure that out.
He's the guy that thought that people had to tell him about leap days and like congratulate him. Like, congrats on it being a leap day. I don't know if we can trust him on his leap day knowledge here. Todd, you doing anything special today?
No.
No.
This is just another day for me.
It's another day on the DNVR Broncos podcast. We've got Super Bowl 50 champ Todd Davis, Henry Chisholm, here, and yours truly, Zach Stevens, rocking and rolling with you today. And we've got a very busy show. So let's dive into this. Yesterday, we determined that Russ is gone. So the Broncos are looking for a quarterback. See ya, Russ. And Sean dropped some hints at the Combine about what he's looking for in his next quarterback. And honestly, Sean, with how much Sean was willing to talk about what he's looking for in a quarterback, that was all that needed to be said about Russ's future. Yep. It was like he was telling us what he's looking for in his next quarterback, and he literally said, our next quarterback. So we've got, I believe, 5 different clips of what Sean was talking about quarterbacks, and we're going to pick these apart and find out exactly what Sean wants in a quarterback. Then we're going to go through the quarterbacks that could be available in trades, draft, and free agency, and see if these guys, which one of these meets Sean's criteria, and then rank them on how they meet on Sean's criteria to try to figure out which one of these guys is a realistic option, which one's the top option for the Broncos this year. So without further ado, let's hit it. Sean, let's hit that first clip of Sean at the Combine.
We better, so the question was, finding the right solution to quarterback in this league, which is obviously very competitive in our division. I think it's vital. I saw this like humorous meme the other day where there was a Bronco fan with a shirt on, and there was like 8 quarterbacks names with a cross through it, and he's drinking the quarterback Kool-Aid, and our job is to make sure that this next one, doesn't have a line through it.
Here, do you have the ability to play these on double speed? This is Hank's suggestion.
Wow. Also, I did figure out the leap day thing. So it's 365.2425, which means it's actually like once. Basically, the way it works is the first leap year of the century. There's no leap day. Like they don't do that one. But then if the year is divisible by 400, then they actually still do it because it's 365.2425.
So every
100 years.
Yeah, every 100 years you skip a leap year.
Except for the 4th
except for the
100
fourth
year,
one of
then
those.
you keep it.
Exactly, but it's actually
Wow.
.2422, and so I guess like every 1,000 years they got to do something else, but
Wow.
it's pretty crazy. Yeah,
That
not
is
this year though.
wild.
It's just a normal leap year.
Yep, because we're not on 100.
Not on 100.
Wow.
Yeah.
Henry, bringing the facts today.
It's important stuff.
So
It's a
speaking
shame
of,
none of us will be alive next time it matters, but
you don't think?
Speak for yourself, man.
How old? When were you born? 97.
Yeah,
You
I
could-
mean
you could be alive.
103. That's pushing. I don't know.
Older
That's
than
a lot.
Hank.
My
honestly.
my grandpa lived to 102, and he was born over 100 years ago. So
Yeah.
you would imagine that health would be
That's
better
true.
in 100 years from now. Hank, I think you can get to 103.
I don't know.
Todd
That'll
and I
be a
are
game
making
time
it to
decision.
108.
I'm not
Now
sure.
we're talking about
That's a
that.
good point. Hank's not
that's
making
true.
it to 103.
That's also that's fair.
I'm just 85, probably just be frozen at that point. Me
Yeah,
up in a couple of hundred.
yeah.
Wouldn't you want to be frozen at 55 though?
Yeah, but I feel like if I just get frozen by 80, if they can freeze me and then we're so technologically advanced to thaw me, then they can
yeah.
probably do some regenerative
It's
aging
true.
and bring me back a little bit.
What you could do is say hey, unfreeze me because I want to see what this not leap year thing is, and you can just freeze me up right after. But that's a day that I want to be here for.
I wouldn't unthaw for that.
No, not for that. What would you unthaw for? It's tough to predict the future.
Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty tough.
Yeah.
Maybe-
Unthawing feels like it needs a pause after.
Unthaw?
Yeah. I
don't
want to
know.
unthaw for that. It feels like there needs to be a pause.
What if you just unthawed for your birthday every year? You just check in, see what happened in the last year, and then midnight freeze back up again.
Yeah.
one day?
There's
a year?
something there. I think yeah.
And then you could live forever.
Well, I mean, you just in theory,
Yeah, exactly.
you age one day every 365
Exactly.
days. So
Yeah.
you live 365 years.
Or
is that
365
math
times
right?
longer.
Yeah. No, that was wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, so
that
you'd
was
be
wrong.
living long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so we heard that clip yesterday, so I don't think there's really anything to take other than the Broncos are moving on from Russ. He's talking
Yeah.
about the next quarterback. So let's hit this next clip right now, too.
I think there's still some things that are paramount today. At some point, teams are going to make you win from the pocket. We can rush a certain way to keep a quarterback from escaping, and so we're going to have to be, wherever you're at, proficient enough on third down to take a snap, find a throw, and protect that spot that you're referencing, regardless of height. Because I think oftentimes these guys are seeing through lanes, not necessarily over them, but certainly for some quarterbacks that can be a little bit more challenging.
So with that question, I'll do a better job at teeing up exactly what the question is. For that question, he was asked, how was it working with a shorter quarterback in Drew Brees for a long time, and does that impact your scheme? And what did you take away from his answer there? Was there anything that a quarterback needs in his eyes?
Yeah, two things. I would say, one, he said they need to win from the pocket. He talked about rush lanes and it being paramount to be able to win within the pocket, not always have to scramble out. And then also being able to read through lanes, understanding where guys are rushing from and where you can kind of step up and see different targets from. I think those are two big things that he pointed out.
Okay, so
Yeah.
to me, win from pocket, obviously one. And then that second one, to me, when you were explaining it, it is like being able to manipulate the pocket and
Yep.
move in the pocket and understand the pocket. So pocket
Agree.
presence, is
Yep.
that kind of the way to phrase it?
Yep.
Shots at Russ right there?
Oh, shoot.
I didn't even think of it the first 7 times I listened to this
Yeah.
until you were explaining it.
Dang. Maybe some 22 shots, not 45 caliber shots.
Right.
Light shots.
Henry, do you think that encompasses it pretty well?
Yeah, basically. Yep. The big one is you got to be able to win from the pocket, which obviously not groundbreaking for a quarterback, but definitely should be top of the list.
Yeah, I think so as well. This next one, he was asking how to evaluate quarterbacks and what he looks for. You hear? Let's hit it.
To your point with quarterbacks, I think that I think one thing that's hard to measure is their ability to multitask and process and make decisions. It's one thing, you can visit with someone and, they can be intelligent, but, man, how quickly can they deliver the information, and how quickly can they get through the progression? Are they accurate? There's some fundamental things that we have to see that are present. And so sometimes it's not as difficult as we make it out to be. And then sometimes, listen, it's very difficult. And so I think we'll be really good at this. And I think to some degree we're glad that a lot of people aren't.
Oh my goodness. I love the confidence and swag that Sean has with this. I think we'll be really good at this, and to some degree we're happy other people aren't.
Yeah.
These are fighting words though, because let's say they go out and draft JJ McCarthy and he doesn't pan out. Oh my goodness, this could be used against him so badly.
He's right though, that like if everybody just knew which ones the good quarterbacks were, it'd be like, oh, number 1 turns out to be Drake Maye. Guess what? Drake May's number 1 off the board. Number 2 turns out to be J. McCarthy. And then Caleb Williams, like, Broncos get stuck with the 4th or 5th best. They get the chance that these other guys screw it up and they can find the right answer.
Yeah, what, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson were the 4th and 5th quarterbacks taken in their draft? They would have been the 1 and 2, depending on the order. Yeah. And then the other guys would have been 3, 4, and 5.
Easily.
Yep.
So, I mean, the Ravens got lucky because other teams suck at evaluating quarterbacks. Same with the Bills. They drafted Josh Allen 4th. They got lucky that other teams. And it is right. I mean, what is the hit rate in the NFL for a first-round pick non-quarterback? It's like 50%, I think. In hit rate, that could mean just like starter. It doesn't even mean like a great player. And then for quarterbacks, I think that number even goes further down. And that's not just like a 2-year sample size. That's a sample size of decades and decades that you have there. So, yeah, teams are not good at evaluating quarterbacks.
And I feel like I don't know what the problem is. Like, I don't know. It feels easy to me to sit back and watch a guy's film and see what he can do, look at his competition, and understand him as a player. Maybe I need a job in the front office somewhere, but I feel like I could do it. I honestly feel like I could do it.
I've thought that same thing, and then all of a sudden Zach Wilson sucks, and I'm like, oh, I guess I'm an idiot.
And see, Zach
you
Wilson.
like Zach Wilson?
Yeah, I was like, wow, look at his arm. Like, there's no way he fails. Like, this is incredible.
And that's exactly why
Maybe
I
not
think
no way
I
he
would
fails.
be able to do this too. Because, Todd, I think you and me are going to view quarterbacks very similarly, because I viewed people like Henry who thought Zach Wilson, man, he's got a cannon of an arm. I'm like, that doesn't matter.
What'd you think of Trey Lance?
Trey Lance, a lot of unknowns with him. What I did like about
I guess
Trey,
that was RK who loved him.
RK loved him.
Yeah.
Trey Lance, so apparently had the mentals right, so I was more of a fan of him. To me, and we'll get into this, the number one most important thing is mental ability and processing, and that's one of the things that Sean pointed to in this is process info quickly.
Yep.
And in that was being able to progress through reads on the field, also relay information. I think that might be another little shot at Russ. I don't think these are intentional shots, but like the 22 shots. Being able to relay information in the huddle, at the line of scrimmage, be able to make all the checks you need. And so when he says process information quickly, to me, I just take that as like overall mental, I guess football IQ is what it boils down to. And the other thing that I took from there is he said accuracy is a very important thing there. And he said there's a couple of fundamental things you have to have, and he said that right after saying accuracy and being able to process info quickly. So I think those are two very important ones to Sean.
Yeah, they're very important, and I think they're very important just to all quarterbacks, because if you're able to process information, in particular, like coming to the line of scrimmage, we could have a terrible play call for this defense, and you can get us out of it. You don't have to run a perfect call, just don't let us run that call. And so I think it makes it so much easier even on yourself as a quarterback, because instead of just lining up and trying to run, your man beater versus zone, just change the play. Get us into a run, get us into a zone beater. Like, it makes it easier on you if you have those abilities and capabilities.
And be able to, a coach to be able to give multiple plays to a quarterback at the line of scrimmage. And I'm sure there's a lot of quarterbacks that the coach can't do that. They have to give them one play and just hope the defense comes out in the right look. And it's much more on the coach and the play caller, because they can't put more on a quarterback.
Yeah. They got to be perfect in that sense.
All right, we got 2 more clips to play from Sean after I tell you about our friends over at Breckenridge Brewery, the official craft beer of DNVR. You guys know we love Breckenridge Brewery, and we love them because they love Colorado and Colorado sports teams so much. We got the Broncos Country Pale Ale on set right now. They've also got Nuggets. They've got the Avalanche Amber Ale. Just need to work on a little Rockies beer, and they're going to have everything for the Colorado sports team. So make sure to check out Breck Beer at breckbrew.com. Check out their beer locator at the top of the screen to find not just where you can get Breckenridge brews, where you can get specific Breck beers. 66 degrees on Sunday. That is strawberry sky weather. That is some delicious beer weather. So make sure to check them out. They also have Good Company hard seltzer. So to find your Breckenridge beer, go to breckbrew.com, the official craft beer of DNVR.
And go check out Bet365, too. I put in a big bet on the Avs. We went to the game against the Stars a couple nights ago. And one of the things that Bet365 does is if you bet on a team to win a hockey game and that team goes up by 3, you just get paid out right there. So I just got all my money in the second period, and it was awesome.
Dang.
There was no more stress. Like, not that there would have been. They wound up winning like 5-1 or whatever, but it's one of the many, many, many perks that Bet365 has to offer. If you deposit $10, you can choose either a bet and get offer where you place a bet of $5 or more, you get $150 in bonus bets, or a first bet safety net offer where you can place a bet up to $1,000, and if that bet loses, you receive a matched refund in bonus bets. The key to getting either one of those deals is to open an account and use the code DNVR365. And if you do that, you can pick between those deals, and then they've got a whole bunch of offers all the time. So you can just get on there and check all those out as well. Like I said, use that code DNVR365 to sign up. And you must be 21 or older and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right. Sean was also asked how evaluating quarterbacks has changed over the years, and here's what he had to say.
To your point with quarterbacks, I think that I think one thing that's hard to measure is their ability to multitask and process and make decisions. It's one thing, like you can visit with someone and, you know, they can look, I think accuracy is important. I think leadership comes in a lot of different ways. So historically speaking, we've had quiet, successful quarterbacks. We've had outspoken, successful quarterbacks. We've had tall, short. So there are a lot of things that make you understand shapes and sizes, personality traits, but there are some constants that go with successful players at that position. I think offenses have changed a little bit, and yet we've never not valued a quarterback that can beat you with his feet. That goes back to Young and Montana. That historically, that's nothing new. But we are seeing more in the college game, and then we get to evaluate that, and then we're seeing more of that come into our game, and I think it's good. You know, I think it's good. I'm not finished answering that question. I think 4th and 1 overtime in the Super Bowl, you know, the play we saw Kansas City run, I don't know that we see that play 10 years ago. That doesn't mean we don't see a conversion, but I don't think we see that RPO option with a few different reads. And so those are some of the things that I think have evolved.
Okay, what'd you guys take from that? Anything?
Accuracy.
Yep. Again.
Leadership.
Yep.
Yeah, but
And the ability to win with your feet.
And key with leadership, he doesn't really care what kind of leadership. So he doesn't care if it's like a loud person or a quiet person. He also said he doesn't, like, there have been quarterbacks who are successful who are tall and short. So I throw out height. I throw out, I don't know. I guess leadership, it's just tough to see here. I mean, but I guess you look at Caleb Williams and say he's a leader. Other than the crying, I know. Other than the crying.
But no, Henry, to your point, though, Sean views leadership that you can be a leader in multiple ways.
Yep.
And so where, Todd, you might not think that Caleb can be a leader because of those antics. And I think a lot of people agree with you on that. I don't think Sean would necessarily cross him off because of that, where I think rightfully so, some people would.
Be a sensitive leader. Not everybody has to be hard-nosed. You know what I'm saying?
A sensitive leader.
Hey.
If I called you a sensitive leader, would you view that as a positive thing?
Not personally.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But it's somebody's, you know what I'm saying, bad.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with a sensitive leader. But yeah, I also easier to throw out height. Tougher to grade personalities, but height doesn't really matter.
I totally agree with that. And, I mean, I think you guys
Just
nailed
good
it.
news for Caleb Williams, who wasn't getting crossed off anyway. Like
Right,
he's the
because
short one.
That is actually wild.
Yeah.
In this draft class, he's 6'1", right?
Yeah, he's listed 6'1".
Listed 6'1". Drew Brees was listed at 6 foot.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, and winning with their feet is kind of a bonus to me, not necessarily something that a quarterback has to have in Sean's eyes, but he does value that.
Yeah.
So speaking of Caleb Williams, that would help him. Jayden Daniels as well, but we'll get into the specifics in just a second. And Henry, you mentioned height. I don't know if it's in this next answer, but if not, I have a little bit more information on height with Sean talking about it. But let's get to the very last answer that Sean had when talking about what he's looking for in a quarterback.
Common mistakes. What are the common mistakes made? Well, look, I think there's risk. Obviously, there's no certainty, or else we'd be fantastic with the draft. There's certain risks. I think, man, how quickly can they process the information? For some, when you get them in rookie minicamp, you realize it's, I've been with a rookie before and just feel like this is not how I wanted it to go. He's having trouble spitting out the plays. Maybe it takes a while. Maybe that's something that you realize is going to be a hindrance or set him back. I think we shouldn't miss on accuracy because we get to see it. We shouldn't miss on stature because we get to feel it and look at it and measure it. We shouldn't miss on athleticism. All of those traits should be easier to be correct on, but the more difficult ones, leadership we shouldn't miss on. We should feel that and be able to research that. But it's that other element, and it's really the difference of just that. And for some, it's 2 thumb thicks, and for others, it's 1, and you hope it's 1. All right.
Do you guys understand that thumb tick thing he was talking about?
Just quick or quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I would.
think that's it,
I don't
yeah.
know if I would have passed Sean's thumb tick test because it literally took me until now to understand what he was talking about.
Wow. Yeah, that's faster than a thumb click. Yeah, I mean, he did everybody wants somebody who can process. It's really tough to see who those guys actually are. Like, there are some little hints, but like just about every one of these guys, there's like big signs or whatever. They're calling in plays from the sideline. Like, teams just barely even huddle at this point. Like, the checks at the line, like in college, there just isn't nearly as much of that. Like, the offenses they run are so RPO based and one read more often than not that like the number of plays that they run that are more than that, like he said, like it's just really hard to evaluate those sorts of things, which sucks because that's what's most important.
And exactly. And I think for not to everyone, I don't think that's the most important thing, but to Sean, clearly, that's the most important thing. That and accuracy and leadership as well. But those 2 things he just kept talking about in these answers that we were talking about. Was he talking about you as the rookie? That
No,
you just got out there and he's like, oh my God, what's this guy doing?
Definitely not. That was not me. I feel like that was my biggest strength was learning the playbook.
Yep.
You know, they'll play somebody who knows what he's doing well before they play the most athletic guy on the field. So.
100%.
And they can coach up technique, but if you just can't learn the plays, then, you know, there's no space for you.
It's just like it reminds me of some stories with Peyton Manning being around certain receivers where if those receivers didn't know the play or weren't able to pick up on the things that were going, doesn't matter how athletic they are, Peyton's literally throwing them off the field.
Give me somebody else.
Saying, Coach, don't put this guy back on.
It's a harsh reality. But to his point, I think it is hard to see and gauge from film how well a guy processes information and how well he understands football. But I think that's why those meetings that they have are so important. Like, I'm treating those meetings like a Wonderlic test if I'm Sean. Like, from the time he comes in I'm going to give them a play. 3 right, X jet, 47 left.
Yep.
And then I'm going to say we're going to go through some things. We're going to watch some film of what you did, how you processed it, what you saw. At the end of the meeting, I'm going to ask you what that play was and what that play is. Like, I'm going to try and break it down. And then that's our first one. Then they get official visits to different teams. We're bringing everybody back in that we just, what was the play I gave you 3 months ago? Do you remember it? Like, I think you can be diligent in those meetings and kind of get a good gauge for guys.
Yeah.
And
I also think we're not far away from just, like, teams bringing in, like, a VR headset. It's like we're drawing this play up on the board, put on the headset, defense rotates, whatever it is. Bang, you got to decide right there, like, where you're going with the ball.
Yeah.
Definitely. I can absolutely see that happening. Just throw an Apple Pro Vision. Apple Vision
Pro
on.
Yep. Sounds like you don't have one.
$3,500? Yeah, I don't have one right now.
That's a shame.
And the thing about the combine meetings that they have with these guys, they're 18 minutes long. So, like you said, you can have those hour-long visits and multi-hour-long visits where you bring them into the building later, but you get fewer of those. You get 18 minutes to get a first impression on these guys. And one more thing that Sean touched on, he was asked like what a prototype quarterback is, and he said a prototype quarterback starts at about 6'2". Now, Sean clearly doesn't need a prototype quarterback, but it's just interesting because at least I think when I thought of a prototype quarterback, you think about that Peyton Manning commercial with like Verizon 15 years ago where he's like 6'5", 230-pound, rocket, laser arm. That's not what Sean thinks of a prototype. 6'2" and above, not like the 6'5". So I think that's interesting, but clearly he had Drew Brees for 15 years at 6 foot at the tallest. So that's not something that you have to have.
No, I don't think you do. I think there's tons of quarterbacks from Drew Brees to Peyton Manning to, can we say Russell Wilson?
Yeah.
That
Super Bowl. Yeah.
Michael Vick or
in Sean's perspective,
we'll give it to Vic, but not.
I was just trying to give opposing heights to
that's
quarterbacks
true.
that have won Super Bowls.
Yeah.
He was one of them.
Yeah,
he was one
of
Super
them.
Bowl.
Yeah, I also think. I mean, everybody's just getting shorter in the NFL. Like it used to be. Like
I don't think that.
You don't think so?
Heck no.
Really?
No.
When I think back though, like linebackers back in the day used to be like 260 pounds. We're just going straight downhill.
But that's not shorter. That's just
smaller. I guess smaller. I'll say smaller. But then you like look at the receivers. Like those guys are small now, and it's just kind of gotten shorter and shorter. And obviously, like there's still big guys who have success, but like Austin Eckler, he just wouldn't have survived like 40 years ago.
Darren Sproles.
Yeah. But again, that's like 15 years ago, 10 years ago. Like, I do think that...
But also 40 years ago, all they were doing running power. Like,
exactly.
Wide receivers, all they were doing was blocking. Like.
Exactly. And so it just, like, changed a little bit. But way back then, like, yeah, quarterback, you just want some big guy who can take a bunch of hits. Like, I do think that the game has just changed so much. It's more like speed 7-on-7 and not so much power anymore. And that, I mean, it's not a huge impact on quarterback, but it's some impact.
So then I'm curious how we think these traits of the list we built translates to the quarterbacks that are available and which ones are on the Broncos board, whether it's number 1, whether it's number 10. Let's get into these quarterbacks and see if they pass Sean Payton's test after I tell you about our friends over at Game Time, where we're going to be watching a different quarterback with the Broncos on the field this year. And if you want to be there in person, you go to Game Time, download the app, use the code DNVR to get $20 off, and you can use this right now to go see the Nuggets, Avs, Rockies coming up in a month, or any concerts that you want to hit tonight, this weekend, or any coming in the summer as well. And Game Time is going to guarantee that you get the best price with their Game Time guarantee, meaning if you find a ticket in the same section or row for less, they're going to credit you 110% of the difference, just guaranteeing that you're going to get the best price over at Game Time. They also have the all-in price, so you know exactly how much you're going to pay. You're not going to be surprised at checkout with like an additional 50% in fees. So use that code DNVR to get $20 off your first purchase over at Game Time. Terms apply. Create an account and use that code DNVR for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed.
And shout out to the American Raptors. You know, if my shoulders weren't, as blessed as they are, I probably would try out for the team. They're Colorado's only professional rugby team, are back, and you can catch their games on ESPN+. The DNVR Bar will be hosting a watch party for the game on March 1st at 4 p.m., featuring giveaways, a VIP ticket raffle for the March 17th home opener and their Raptors Club. You can witness all the fast-paced, hard-hitting rugby action live at Infinity Park in Glendale when the Raptors embark on a 6-game homestand starting on March 17th. Tickets are only $10, so bring your friends and family to Infinity Park and spend your Sundays at Rugby Town, USA. Visit AmericanRaptors.com for more information on the team and to purchase your tickets now.
Does Henry have blessed shoulders?
I don't know if he's done anything with his shoulders.
Yeah, no, nothing with them.
Nothing. No shoulder exercises.
Well, I mean, like you go on like the rowing machine, like you got this one.
Oh my gosh.
This one too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's kind of the rotation.
That's a pec deck. This one's for your pecs.
Yeah, that's what I was
So
thinking.
you work your shoulders there.
See, the blast.
Yeah. He loves doing that.
I mean, that's what I do in the gym, though. Like that, when you see that, you should be thinking gym, not thinking whatever you're thinking. 'Cause that's what happens there.
Oh, I didn't even.
Yeah, that's what he's doing.
That was wild for a second.
Okay.
That was
And then he's
wild.
Now I
shaking
can't show you. So I moved enough that all the gyms are very different, and so I wind up in decent shape in different places of my body. And so, like, there was one that had, like, a great core machine. Like, the last one had, like, keep the hands open, where you, like, the pull downs, which was a great one. But this new place doesn't have that one. But it does have, like, a big rowing machine. So I was like, well, it's not the same, but it's, like...
Rowing's so tough.
It is tough.
In, like, a really good workout way.
It is tough. Yeah.
Okay, so let's dive into... one more thing. We got a lot of people watching and not enough thumbs up. Hit us with the thumbs up. We really appreciate it. Helps us out a lot. And like I said, we really do appreciate everyone rolling with us. I mean, it's the last day of February, and we got a lot of people rolling with us. So we really appreciate the support. Okay, let's go through these quarterbacks. Let's go through the drafted ones first, free agents, then we'll hit the trade ones as well. We got 3 people on set, so 2 against 1 on if these guys fit. It doesn't have to mean that they're the perfect Sean Payton quarterback, but do we think they hit Sean's qualities enough to like be on his board, or are we eliminating them right here? So let's start with the drafted ones, and let's look at all the first-round quarterbacks. Caleb Williams, do we think he hits?
Yes, overall.
Yep, I agree. I think so. Henry?
Yeah. I mean...
It doesn't matter what you say. We've already got 2.
He's
but I
so
wanna know
good
what
that
you
he
say.
fits.
Yeah.
But, like, if we're saying number one's win from the pocket, like, out of all these guys, the one guy you'd say, like, doesn't win from the pocket would be Caleb Williams.
But can he win from the pocket?
I mean, I think he's capable of anything, like, so sure. But I mean, I do think that he's probably overall the worst fit. But, like, he's Caleb Williams, so they're not taking him off the draft board.
What's interesting, and I think you have some good points there, is I actually think this next guy, Drake Maye, I'd make the case no, actually. I think he is a guy of anyone in this draft that you look at and you talk about his physical traits, number 1, number 2, number 3. It's not the processing that you look at. It's not necessarily the accuracy. So I actually think that maybe the 2 guys with the most question marks in terms of fitting Sean's traits are maybe the top 2 guys in this draft viewed by many. So I would say for Drake Maye, I'd say no.
Yeah, overall, I think he can. One thing I'd say is that he can win from the pocket, but I don't know if his accuracy is always there. And I don't know if he has the best processing ability.
Yeah.
So
he hasn't
for
done
those
anything to
2
show that he...
Yeah, for those 2 reasons, I'd probably say no.
Yeah. But I mean, like, accuracy, 15, like 12 yards or more downfield, he might be best in the class. No, I wouldn't give that to him. But, I mean, he'd be in that conversation. It's just all the short stuff. But, yeah. And so, I'm fine with no here.
It's kind of wild, though. And, I mean, I think all of us, just the way we've done our rankings, Drake Maye hasn't been at the top of any of our boards, which is interesting. And I think that actually fits into what Sean would view as well. Okay, Jayden Daniels here.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so, too. And when you initially think of Jayden, you think of like, oh, well, he's not a true win from the pocket guy because he has so much dynamic ability with on the ground. But absolutely can win in the pocket. And I actually think when you look at LSU, I think Brian Kelly put a lot on his plate in terms of checks at the line. And Henry, you mentioned that doesn't really happen much more in college, and you're absolutely right. But I think of anyone, he might have had the most on his plate, him and Caleb Williams, in terms of doing stuff at the line. So I actually think, while it doesn't seem like it initially, he absolutely is able to process info quickly, is accurate, and can win from the pocket.
I agree.
His receivers made a lot of plays for him too, though.
There's no doubt. Same with Joe Burrow, though.
Exactly.
And when he was
and when
at
you wind
LSU.
up with like 40-something touchdowns and like almost 5,000 yards or whatever, that's fine.
Right.
It's like we said with Penix. If the receivers can't make the catch, that's the receiver's fault, not yours.
Right.
Give him a chance.
J.J. McCarthy.
I don't know if he can diagnose defenses and process the information. He does his winning from the pocket, but he just hasn't done enough of it, in my opinion, to really count as like he won from the pocket.
Yeah.
I'll probably say, that's tough. I'd probably say overall, probably yes.
He has the biggest question mark, right? Because we saw him do it the least. He has under 400 passing attempts in college, whereas like everyone else in this class has way over 1,000. So the sample size is so different. So it's hard to look at JJ and say that, oh yeah, I'm so confident he can do all of these things great, because he just hasn't proven it. The little we've seen of him, I think he fits what Sean Payton's looking for. I do think he fits, but you can't be so confident in it.
Yeah. I think it's not that any one of those boxes he doesn't check. It's just that he doesn't check them like completely. Like the accuracy, like it comes and goes. Like he misses a lot of throws, like as many quarterbacks do. But like he'll leave them short. He'll sail a couple. Like I don't know that I would say he disqualifies because of his accuracy. But then you throw in like we haven't seen a lot of the processing. Like when he's at his best, it's like third down, rolling out of the pocket, and we've never seen him just run like what I think of as like the prime Brady offense, where it's a throw every time. Half those throws are out of empty, and you're just like taking what the defense gives you. You go all the way down the field. Like he definitely hasn't shown like high level winning from the pocket, at any point. And I think that's why I would say no. But it's like Drake Maye, like you give him 3 more years, like you gave to Penix or Nix or those guys, it might be totally different.
Okay, so we're keeping him on the board right now. Bo Nix, when you said like the empty, just quick throws, Bo has to fit
That's
that,
him.
right?
Yep, that's him. He's like the opposite of Drake Maye. Like Bo Nix he's going to hit everything underneath, but anything downfield, just not his game.
So he fits what Sean's looking for?
I think so.
I think
He's
so
the
as
most
well.
accurate quarterback in football, right?
Yeah.
Almost 80% completion. That's nuts.
Yeah.
No, a lot of those were like behind the line of scrimmage throws. I think he had more of that than anyone in the country last year. But still, I mean, the accuracy is definitely there, especially medium and short range. So he's staying on the board. Then last first-round quarterback, your guy, Todd, Michael Penix.
For sure.
We know you like him, but does he fit what Sean's looking for?
He went from the pocket. He's accurate.
Yeah.
Feel like he can process defenses just by where he chooses to throw the ball versus matchups. So I say, yeah.
I think so, definitely.
I agree, for sure.
Like, and you're saying, like, who wins from the pocket the most? He has a case for it, for sure. And accuracy, like, he also has a case for it. So, processing, again, like, there's nothing we've seen to make you think he can't do it. So, he's got as good a shot as anybody.
100%. I'm right there with you.
He doesn't get the boost of, like, the mobility.
Right.
But he does. I mean, he does enough in the pocket by time. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And Sean never said, like, I need a quarterback that's really thick. I think that's been a big knock on I think that's been a big knock on JJ and Penix in, like, the Senior Bowl for Penix and throughout this process is that both of them are pretty skinny guys. Sean never once mentioned that.
Yeah.
And clearly we know that, like, height isn't the biggest deal for him either. So where that, honestly, the stature of those two guys might take them off some teams' boards. I don't think it impacts the Broncos' board much, if at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jayden Daniels is the weird one with that.
That's really true as
like,
well. Yep.
He doesn't slide.
He will.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to teach him.
Lamar didn't slide either.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
true.
And then they go from college linebackers to being hit by NFL linebackers.
Todd.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm sure it changes pretty quickly. I'm sure they learn pretty quickly too.
If you were to see just like Jayden Daniels running at you, it's like, oh, I know he's not going to slide. That's got to be an awesome feeling, right?
Well,
Assuming
yeah.
you don't.
Assuming you make the tackle.
Exactly, yeah.
It's hard to do in open field. Like, if he's like, if you know you have a defender right here and you know you got a clear shot, oh, yeah, you're happy. But if you know, like, okay, I got to brace myself, because then it's not like I got to hit him as hard as I can. I just got to get him down.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to miss that tackle in the open field. Like, it just doesn't look good.
Especially from like a rookie quarterback.
No.
No.
Yeah.
And he is a guy. He's not. I mean, no one's like Lamar in terms of running from a quarterback's perspective, but he is about as close as it gets to Lamar in terms of just like slippery and fast and explosive as a runner.
Yep.
Okay, let's hit these. I think the college quarterbacks are going to take the longest to go through because there's just more unknown. The free agents, we know a lot about these guys, so let's go through these quickly. Do you think Baker Mayfield fits what Sean's looking for?
I think so now. I think 3 years ago, no. But I think yes. I think he could win from the pocket now. It's also easier to win from the pocket when you're just throwing the ball at Mike Evans.
Yeah, I think so too, though. I think he like fits it enough.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins.
But I would venture to say that Baker's problem is the same thing as JJ's problem. It's not enough of a sample size.
Yeah.
He really only did it for 1 year, and I don't know if that was because of Mike Evans or if he finally found his niche.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Honestly, I don't think it's going to matter. I think Baker's going to be off. I don't think he's even going to hit free agency.
Yeah.
I think the Bucs are going to lock him up. But we'll keep him on there. Kirk Cousins.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yep, for
yeah,
sure.
he doesn't get obviously like the bonus for being mobile, but
Right. That's
checks
just a
everything
bonus.
else.
Ryan Tannehill.
No.
No, I agree.
No.
Mitchell Trubisky.
No.
No, I agree. Sam Darnold.
No.
In
agree.
theory, he was supposed to like the reason he came into the league is because you thought absolutely. And so if you're giving him another chance, it's because you think like maybe he can still get that. But looking at what he's done, you can't say yes.
Yeah, Sean would be taking a leap of faith saying, I'm going to change this guy from what he's been if they go with Sam Darnold. Because right now, he simply doesn't. What about Drew Lock?
No.
I don't think so either. I think you like Drew for kind of the same reasons you like Sam Darnold and some of these other guys is like, man, the arm talent is there. But like quick processing, winning from the pocket, no, not there. Gardner Minshew, the last one on this list that I've got.
He keeps finding a way to kind of bounce back, doesn't he?
He does.
That means he's pretty good at least seeing the field. And he's kind of slippery in the pocket.
Yeah.
He's not an easy guy to take down. Maybe a little bit.
A little bit for sure.
Yeah, I
he's
think
almost
so.
like a worse Baker Mayfield. And I think Baker makes that cut. I'm not sure if Minshew does, but like there's some similarities there.
So would you say yes or no?
I'd say yes. I'd say in terms of play style, yes.
I agree. We've only
His problem might just be that he's not good enough.
and that's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. As a group, we've only disagreed on one, with it being Drake Maye.
Yeah.
That is pretty wild. Am I missing any free agents that jump to your head right now?
Nope.
Okay, then trades. I've got 4 options. Does Justin Fields fit what Sean is looking for?
As of right now, no. We can't say that he does.
I agree.
No, definitely not.
Zach Wilson, who is now the Jets allowed him to search for trade partners, so he's very much available.
Yeah. I mean,
No.
they couldn't find a trade partner. I'm not sure why he could. We'll see how it goes. Good luck, Zach.
He does not fit. What
He does
Sean's
not fit
looking
at all,
for
no.
At all. Sam Howell.
Not yet.
Yeah, no.
Okay, I had yes with a question mark, so I'm totally fine going no here. And then last one, Mac Jones.
No.
I think so. I think he does.
He's another one where like he was drafted because you think so, but then it turns out like you look at the results and it's like, well, he hasn't been able to do it.
Yeah.
His first year, when he
Yep.
had a real offensive coordinator, not a real head coach because his name was Josh McDaniels, but a
Yep.
real offensive coordinator, he got his team to the playoffs, had a really good rookie year. then Bill Belichick absolutely ruined him when he made his offensive coordinators a defensive coordinator and a special teams coordinator.
Yeah.
So I think that Sean would look at Mac and say there's just enough there, but it's 2 against 1, so we're going to say no from that perspective with you guys. Okay, so let's put these into a top 5 and rank them in terms of how these guys fit what Sean Payton's looking for after I tell you about our friends over at Fubo TV.
Fubo.
You got to check out our friends over at Fubo. They've got over 140 live channels of sports show, movies, news, and then, of course, you can watch the Nuggets and the Avs over at Fubo. Scan the QR code on our screen or go to FuboTV.com/DNVR, where you're going to get 15% off your first month. And the awesome thing about Fubo is you get to start streaming right away. You can also get started with a free trial. There's no contracts, no cables, no hassle. You just start up or sign up and start watching right away, and you can do it on your phone. You can watch on your iPad when you're traveling as well. So make sure to go to FuboTV.com/DNVR to get 15% off your first month of Fubo TV Pro.
And check out our friends over at Empire Today, where you can get the best new flooring for your home or office, and they will definitely take care of you. They have the best place to get new flooring. There's loads of copycats, but nobody is like Empire Today. They are the one and only. They have a great virtual floor designer, so you can see how your floors will look in your home before you purchase anything. And I think it's a great way to make an old home feel new. If you've ever done a renovation or you've ever gone in and scraped a property, the first thing you do is get new floors, and then you kind of feel like your whole house has been redone. So go schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive $350 off when they use promo code DNVR. Restrictions apply. See EmpireToday.com/DNVR for details.
All right, so we've got 9 quarterbacks that we've identified fit what Sean's looking for, and some of these might not be truly realistic, like a Caleb Williams, but right now, it's still a potential possibility. So here's the names that we've got. Caleb Williams, Jayden Daniels, J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr., Baker Mayfield, Kirk Cousins, Gardner Minshew, and Sam Howell. When I say those names, who jumps to the top of that list? Who's number 1 for fitting Sean Payton's criteria?
I think Bo Nix is up there. I think Kirk Cousins is definitely up there.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, just when you throw those 2 names out there, I take the proven one, and I say, like, Kirk Cousins fits exactly what Sean Payton's looking for. And that's just one where, man, if the Broncos didn't just have an awful veteran quarterback in terms of the way he fit Sean Payton, that would have to be, like, number 1. But just because of the contract and stuff makes it a little tougher. But I absolutely think Kirk Cousins fits what Sean Payton's looking for to a T.
Yep, I agree.
Would you go Bo Nix number 2, or would you put someone else in this conversation here?
I think Michael Penix Jr. fits it a little bit better just because he can win on the deep throws and the intermediate throws.
Yeah.
And I think Bo Nix is a much better one-read RPO quarterback, and just the intermediate throws are what he's really good at. So that's why I would put Michael Penix Jr. above him.
Yep, I had Penix 3.
Penix
I was
3.
torn between Nix and Penix.
And I think Sean probably values the shorter stuff a little more than the deeper, so that's why I'd probably lean Bo here. But, I mean, I think it is a coin toss. So let's go Bo 2, Penix 3, since Henry had him 2. But 2 rookies in the top 3. I think this is kind of what Sean wants, is one of these rookies. So I think this is good news here. Okay, what about Caleb Williams? I mean, does he fit this, or in terms of fit, does he not even make the top 5?
He's not my top 5. And it doesn't mean like...
Yeah, we're not going
exactly.
based
It's not like
best.
who's most likely to pan out or who does he want most. But in terms of just like fit, he's not top 5 fit, I don't think.
Yeah, because I would say his biggest comparison right now is Patrick Mahomes. And I would say that Patrick Mahomes or Andy Reid and Sean Payton are 2 very different play callers. So I don't think that they would need the same quarterback to fit their scheme. So although he can fit in any scheme because he's a talented player, I don't necessarily feel like Sean's is the like perfect scheme for who he is as a player.
Yeah, especially right now. And like I think Caleb Williams is going to figure it out, but when the biggest concern is that he bails on clean pockets too much, and we're talking like number one is can you win from the pocket? Like it's not a fit. It's most likely to work out, but it's not a fit.
So who would you put 4, or who's in this conversation?
I went Jayden Daniels at 4.
I like that a lot.
Yep.
And I think just when people think of Jayden Daniels, they think of the running. He had 40 passing touchdowns last year. This is a guy that if you watch the tape, he can absolutely win from the pocket. Like, people still think Lamar Jackson is only a runner right now. Well, Lamar Jackson wins from the pocket as well. That's like, if Lamar didn't continue to grow his game as a passer, he wouldn't be the MVP that he was this past year. He has really taken big steps up, and I think that Jayden is one of those guys. So I would put him here as well.
I'm not gonna just outvote myself or get myself outvoted. So I'm rocking with the team. Let's do it.
Who did you have?
Who would you put here then?
I probably would put Drake Maye here.
Okay.
But well, we can put him at 5. Or who else did you guys have?
McCarthy's tempting.
That's who I was
Baker's
gonna
also
go.
kind of tempting.
Yeah. And just because I don't think Baker's even going to be an option, that's why I was going to go McCarthy here.
Yeah. Okay. That works for me.
So McCarthy.
Got outvoted.
I don't think McCarthy has had to have the accuracy to get it done.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's had to. One of the other things was leadership. I think when you look at the leader of
That is interesting.
North Carolina team, it was definitely
That is true.
Drake Maye. I think that Corum was probably the leader of that offense in Michigan.
Yeah.
He was every piece of the offense, especially when they needed something, they went to him. Not saying that he can't step up and do it. I just felt like
It's not
Drake
proven, for
Maye is
sure.
more proven in certain areas, accuracy, ability to win from the pocket because it's a much bigger sample size, and then also his leadership.
So one of the things that has got a lot of press over the past 2 months is the way Jim Harbaugh has praised J.J. McCarthy like no other. Do you think there's any chance that when he was doing that at the end of Michigan's season, he thought, I'm going to be in the NFL next year. Let me try to throw NFL teams off with J.J. here by pumping him up so much?
No, I think he legitimately liked him, and I think people like guys all the time. I'm sorry, as far as players get hyped up, but it doesn't mean that they are everything that specific coach believes them to be.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's just his opinion of him. He's a good head coach, but I don't think that's the end all be all for who he is as a player.
That's fair.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a no-lose situation if he were to do it. It's like, why not say J.J. McCarthy's the best quarterback ever? Makes J.J. happy, makes other teams like, but I don't think that's it. I think he just thinks he's a really good quarterback.
So you think it was true?
Yeah.
Man, wouldn't that be incredible, though, if he was just setting the Broncos up? I mean, it'd be awful for us, but yeah, how 4D chess that would be. But I think you're right. I think it's just of course he loves J.J. McCarthy as a college quarterback. He just helped him win a national championship. He just helped him be a top coach in college football the past couple of years. So, of course, he loves him.
Yeah, you got to take everything with a grain of salt. Same thing with Sean saying him and Russ have a great relationship or they haven't made a decision. Your relationship's probably not that good, and you probably have made a decision, so it is what it is.
Yep. It's true. Okay, so there's our top 5 quarterback fits for Sean Payton. I want to get your guys' updated top 5. Now that we've had, a lot of news and a lot of information come to us in the past week, has your top 5 quarterbacks for the Broncos changed over the past 2 weeks? Todd, let's start with your top 5.
Oh.
Do we need to start with Henry's top 5?
No. We can start with my top 5. Yes, mine definitely changed. So how I had it before, I had Michael Penix Jr. at 1, Bo Nix at 2, Justin Fields at 3, Kirk Cousins at 4, and Russell Wilson at 5.
Russ coming off the board?
Russ is, he's coming off the board. Just not by my choosing, but just by how everything is going. I think he definitely has to come off the board. So right now at 5, I have Drake Maye. I think that he could fit in the offense that Sean wants. I have him at 5 because of how much it's going to take to go get him. So that's why I feel like it won't be a good fit overall because we're going to have to give up too much to get him, even though he would be a good quarterback in Sean's system.
I like that.
I wonder if there's going to be a Drake Maye slide. Because we've seen now it's like 50-50 on the mock drafts with like Jayden Daniels in front of him.
Well,
that's kind of like step 1. And then after that, it's like, oh, is a quarterback going 3 or does he fall to 5?
So you're my mock draft guy, and you trust Bucky Brooks, right?
Solid, yes.
Solid.
Very scout-oriented.
Mel Kiper?
More connected. Also scout, but like...
But you, like, trust him.
Trust him a lot, yes.
They both dropped new mock drafts in the past 48 hours. Both of them have Jayden Daniels going number 2, Drake Maye number 3, if not fallen. Yep. So the fall is already kind of the start for Drake Maye. Is that a picture of Drake Maye on the graphic? Yeah. Does that not look like the Raiders logo?
It does.
Okay,
it does.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I believe you. It's just from this angle, it looks very much just like a Raiders logo. Yeah, really. Well, you wouldn't like that.
No, I don't think any of us would.
No.
Yeah, no. Be a little scary with his upside. Okay, who's going above?
At 4, I had Bo Nix. Because of his accuracy, I think he would be a good fit for the team. I don't know if he has all the tools in the bag to be a successful NFL quarterback, but I do feel like because of where we are in the draft, he is a viable option for us to choose. And if we get jumped and J.J. McCarthy is gone, I do think that Bo Nix would fit well in Sean's offense. Even if Sean has to simplify it in the first year, I think over time he may be able to add more and more to his plate and see how he succeeds.
Totally agree.
At number 3, I have J.J. McCarthy. There's a lot of hype around him, and especially him being a Bronco. And then Sean's first meeting with the quarterback was J.J. McCarthy. So I guess I'm betting on black here. I see how the tide is turning, so I do feel like the Broncos see something in him. I don't think he's my favorite quarterback, but I think that if you want somebody that can do similar to what Russ did as far as numbers, to where you don't need him to carry the team, but you just need him to be solid, a solid piece of the offense, and let the offensive line and the running game really get us going. I think that's who he is as a player.
Yep.
Number 2, I have Justin Fields. I still think he's a good option for us. And if he's only a 3rd-round pick or a future 2nd, it leaves us with a lot of options and the ability to build the team, commit to the future, and bring in some really good pieces without having to spend 2 firsts and a 3rd. We can just pick our 1st-round pick, whether it be a tight end or an outside linebacker. We have a little leeway now if we go get Justin Fields.
And number
1, still Michael Penix Jr. I think he fits Sean's offense the best. He's proven 4,500 yards, over 4,500 yards 2 seasons in a row. The only person to do that is him and Patrick Mahomes. He doesn't get the Patrick Mahomes comparison, but it is what it is. They love to bring up his injuries. That was over 2 years ago. Stop living in the past, people. And I think he's ready to go. I think he's a talented quarterback, and I think he is just like other quarterbacks, whether it's Lamar Jackson, even Patrick Mahomes. They're not looked at as the best in their draft, but they've shown you what they can do in college, and people try to overlook it, and then they get to the NFL and they continue to be great. What did you not see from the beginning? So I think that's going to be his story.
Yep.
Yeah, it's interesting that you
definitely
like a player that played really well in college.
Hey,
it's weird.
Sometimes I like to go for it.
Great list, 4 rookies in there. And we've had some people in the comment section dropping their list as well. Let us know who your top 5 fits are. I guess not fits, but best options for the Broncos. And Henry, why don't you take us through your top 5?
Number 5, we've got J.J. McCarthy. Again, it's just that there's nothing about him that I love. There's just a lot of things that I like, and that's why he's number 5. We've talked a bunch. Number 4, Bo Nix. I'm starting to come around a little bit. It's he is really good underneath. He gets the ball where it needs to be. He's generally pretty accurate. He can throw on the run. He can make some tough throws. He'll do more dumb things than I think people talk about. I think he kind of gets put in the box of he completes 78% of his passes, so he's like Jimmy G. Well, even Jimmy G, I guess, does some dumb things. But it's he's conservative and all that. And he's not, super conservative. He'll do some dumb things out there. But, yeah, I do think that if we're just talking about which one of these guys, like I mentioned, like that Tom Brady thing where it's like spread them out, like just take 5 yards, go all the way down the field. There's a real chance that he turns out to be the best at that of any of these quarterbacks. And for that reason, I've got him ahead of J.J. McCarthy.
And essentially, that would just be like doing what Sean draws up.
Exactly.
It'd be Sean Payton on the field.
You would hope, yes. You would hope. Number 3, I've got Michael Penix Jr. We've talked about him a bunch. He's awesome. Like he'll incredible accuracy, like wins from the pocket, buys time in the pocket. Nothing special as an athlete. I think that's probably the case for Nix in front of him, but yeah, I mean, he just gets the ball where it needs to be over and over and over again, makes all sorts of different kinds of throws. It's always on the dot. Like it does. Maybe people are overthinking that a bit. Number 2, I've got.
I'd love to see you come around, man. I'd love to see growth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Pause.
Oh, Todd loves to see growth. There we go. Finally, it was not me.
Human, like
Yeah,
intellectual
Oh, humans
growth.
can grow.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Number 2, Jayden Daniels. He's a freak. He's just a freak. He's got all the physical tools to be just a star quarterback. You know, with the Penix, you're saying like, I mean, look at the great quarterbacks like Drew Brees, nothing special as an athlete. Tom Brady, nothing special as an athlete. Peyton Manning, nothing special as an athlete. So, like, it isn't a necessity. But then you look at Jayden Daniels and say, well, even if he doesn't turn out to be an all-time great, like, there are just so many things that you can do with him. It feels like his floor is Justin Fields, because Justin Fields can't throw a football. And so, like, if that's, like, worst-case scenario, you can only go up from there. Like, hey, that's a nice starting point. It'd be expensive, but I'm at the point where I say F it to the expenses, regardless of who it is. Number 1, Caleb Williams. He's a freak. Yeah, like, can do whatever you want him to do. He's number 1. If you gotta give up a bunch to go get him, maybe I'm thinking too much with like my heart and not my brain, but like, it'd be fun at least. And he's the best chance of any of these guys just to be like the best quarterback in the NFL at some point.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, and my list is going to mirror that as well. But with number 5, I'm going with the guy that's not on either of your boards. I'm going Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones is a very real option for this team.
Oh, I do too.
Because I really think he fits what Sean's looking for. A super processor. That's the reason that he went with the 15th overall pick, and he proved that he could do it in the NFL as a rookie. He was ruined by Bill Belichick's one of the worst decisions, honestly, in NFL history, to make co-offensive coordinators a defensive coordinator and a special teams coordinator for your offensive coordinator. What are we doing here, Bill Belichick? So I think that Sean can overlook Mac's past 2 years and bring him in. And another big reason why he is on this top 5 is he's going to cost a 7th round pick or something. Like, he is so low in terms of the risk that you take on with Mac, and I think that Sean could view him. Sean loved him coming out of the draft.
I did
so
too.
that is, yeah, I did too. So I think he is a very realistic option here. Number 4, I'm going JJ.
Wait. So if they went, I agree he's realistic, but if they take Mac Jones, your initial reaction is going to be, oh, good move.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good move.
Wow.
I think it'd be a good move, not knowing what they're going to do in the draft, and also costing a 7th round pick, with the potential. The upside is way more than a 7th round pick would be, in my opinion. With Sean Payton.
The upside, baby.
First round picks, they got upside.
But he's not the upside because of like a massive arm. He's the upside because he's got the, in my opinion, he's got the mental ability. But Henry, to your point, Broncos Country will be so low.
As
on
they
this.
should, yes.
It would be so low. People are saying, giving me a lot of heat for this, but just remember,
Mac Jones.
Sean loved him coming out of college.
I did too.
Number 4, I'm going J.J. McCarthy here. We've talked about J.J. a lot. I think that he is maybe the most pro-ready quarterback because he played in a pro system in college. And I think that he would, just like you mentioned, Bo Nix would kind of be the extension of Sean Payton on the field. I think that's what J.J. McCarthy would end up being as well. Number 3, I'm going Jayden Daniels. The upside with this guy is incredible. Plus, I think his floor is also really high. He can win from the pocket, win with his legs as well. Number 2, Kirk Cousins. He's proven to be exactly what Sean Payton is. He cost a lot, but they could make it work right now by pushing a lot of that money into future years. I think Kirk Cousins' team is an 11-win team right away. And number 1, I'm rolling with Hank here. I'm going Caleb Williams. This might be the last time Caleb's on my board because by the time the Bears trade, or if the Bears trade Justin Fields, it means they're taking Caleb Williams, and I'll take him off. So Bo Nix would probably round out my top 5 here. But right now, Caleb Williams. If you can get the next Patrick Mahomes 2.0, you go that, even if it's going to cost you 3 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks. So there's our top 5. We're going to update it maybe next week if there's some news coming out. And before we get out of here, let's hit a super chat coming in from Josiah, who says, does no meeting with the top 3 quarterbacks mean anything?
They're being realistic is what it means. And they're looking at real options, I feel like. They're not going and dreaming. I think the 2 gentlemen to my right are dreaming. Caleb at the top. But I just think they know it's going to be too expensive to get up there. It's not worth it.
So we know that they've met with the other 3 quarterbacks that are supposed to go in the first round: Michael Penix, Bo Nix, J.J. McCarthy. Doesn't mean that they're not going to meet with one of these guys tonight or tomorrow night or bring them in for a visit, but you do have limited numbers. So if they do say, like, we're not going to be able to get in the top 3, then you're right. Just being realistic. I'm going to dream a little bit longer, Todd.
I bet you Michael Penix killed his interview.
He probably did. And I hope we killed this show today. I really enjoyed it, fellas. We'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m., to talk more Broncos. This has been a blast putting some lists together, and excited to see how it plays out. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Hit us with a thumbs up on the way out. We'll see you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.